Hey, I hope you're doing well. I have a live loop to production track. I'm going to play it all the way through, and then afterwards, we're going to break it down. I'm going to show you all the stuff that I did to it. So, here we go.
I find it hard to stay away, but sometimes it carries me home. All the nights I thought were gone were always there, but I chose to forget. Sometimes I lose my mind, but I'm slowly fading in and out of view. Slowly fading you. When I break into, that's when I'll go. Twist on my tongue and left me to pieces. Come back to me, my sweetest one. I left you when I needed you most. All the colors and all my friends fading back from my lost embrace. Slowly fading you. When I break into, that's when I'll go. Slowly come undone. When I split into, that's when I'll feel. Slowly fading you. When I break into, that's when I'll go. Slowly come undone. When I split into, that's when I'll
Let's break this down. There's a lot of stuff going on. Let's start with. Let's just start with the piano in the beginning. So I used my acoustic piano. Problem is, it hasn't been tuned in a while, so it was a little flat. So I had to tune it a little bit. And the way to do that, so if you're recording a live instrument and it's a little bit out of tune, like the whole thing is a little bit out of tune, not just like one string, you can go up here, and you have your fine tune up in the upper left hand area. And you got to make sure the track is on flex. I'm in Logic Pro, by the way. And then you have polyphonic. You have different things to choose from, like flex pitch. That's the auto tune. I don't really recommend the auto tune in Logic. I think it's amazing in one way. It has such an incredible auto tune capabilities, but it doesn't sound good. The best auto tuning program is Autotune. That's the best. I wish Logic would revamp their Autotune because it does function better than Autotune. It's really handy to use. However, again, the sound quality is really not good. Anyway, so with Steinway, I had to tune that up a little bit. And I recorded two separate parts, or actually three separate parts. So this is the first one. Okay, just an arpeggiated chord or chords. And then I have a high arpeggiated. A lot of reverb on that. The reverb I got going on is the Lexicon. I really love this reverb for certain things. Yeah, Lexicon Large Hall. It is from Universal Audio. And we're going to go on to, did I use it? I used it a little bit later. I didn't really use this, but here, I'll show you. I did some bass notes. Just simple bass notes. But since I had other bass going on, I didn't really need it. So, okay. So that's the piano. I just compressed it a little bit with FabFilter compressor. And then let's go to my vocals. I've got a lot of plugins going on for my vocals. So let's take a listen to the vocals.
I find it hard to stay away, but sometimes it carries me home.
So I've kind of loosened up a little bit. I always, like before, I tried to always make things, like make my vocals perfect. And I think it makes everything sound stale and lifeless. So there is a little bit of pitchiness going on. I try to sing at least a whole phrase all the way through. And I'm not singing each individual one. That's how you get things sounding stale and not really great. So if you're recording your vocals, you really want to just record a good bit of it. Auto-tune. And then I have a compressor. And then to give it a little bit of lift, I have the Neve 1073. Just a little bit of air. And the high EQ on this is really, really great. And then, like all my vocals, I get rid of a lot of the low end because that just is really difficult to mix. And then I have chorus. I'm embracing chorus these days. I'm putting it on more stuff. Before, chorus just sounded like 90s, but now there's some better chorus effects that you can do more with. This isn't based off of an old one, but yeah, it sounds pretty cool. And then I have a delay. And what's really cool about this FabFilter delay is you can really pinpoint where in the frequency spectrum you want the delay to happen. So you can get rid of like way more stuff, way more frequencies, and just have one little thing poking out. And it's, oh man, it's super helpful. This thing can do so many things. It's one of the best delay plugins out there, I think. Okay, and then let's take a listen to the, I think these are.
Sometimes I lose my mind, but I'm slowly fading in and out of you.
So again, I'm trying to use AI software to kind of help me. The more I use AI software, the more useless I find it, to be quite honest. It is so, like in the beginning, when I started using it, it was great. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And then the more I used it, the more, the, the worse it sounded, if that makes any sense. Because it started just, well, like every time you make something, it's kind of the same thing over and over again. And it's kind of really terrible at writing music. But there is one thing that occasionally it can help with. So when I'm writing for picture, for film, there's a trick. Like if I can't think of what to do, I'm like totally stuck. Then to the picture, I write something that just totally doesn't work. And oftentimes you listen to that and you're like, oh my God. And then something will pop up and, oh, I know it works. This is kind of a similar thing. I'm uploading my music. I've uploaded my music to AI. It spit out something. So it's my whole track, finished track, chords, melody, all that stuff. And it comes back and I'm like, this is terrible. And I did like a whole bunch more. I'm like, this is so terrible. But then I like had another idea. So it's kind of sometimes good for that. And out of that, there were some backing vocals that it spit out. Kind of cool. But all the vocals that AI programs spit out these days, it has this high. There's so much high end to it. It sounds fake, and if you know what to listen for, you can pick out an AI track right away. I'm starting to like come across tracks on streaming now. I'm like, oh, that's AI. The vocals are totally AI, and the vocals give it away. So the next thing, So here's the chorus and a whole bunch of different background vocals from AI. So it's cool in the background. For me to put that in the foreground as like a singer, it would sound terrible and really cheesy. Okay, and then here we have acoustic guitar. Pretty basic. One thing I need to do is I need to bring in, I'm hearing a lot of low end rumble, and you can hear that, right? Take a listen. See all that down there? That's just garbage for mixing. that's with everything taken out, and it sounds much cleaner. Take a listen again without. And here's with. It's very subtle, but if you have a lot of tracks that have like this very low kind of rumble, whatever, then you have suddenly a whole bunch of rumbling happening, and you're like, why isn't my mix sounding good? It's the low end. Really, check out your low end. Really, really important. It's my ukulele. And that's this right over here. It's that ukulele. It's an Alcoa ukulele. I did the same EQ treatment pretty much as the acoustic guitar. I don't spend a whole ton of time EQing and finding the right frequency. And I'm like, that sounds pretty good overall. I'm going to stick with it. Because I like to move fast. I like to make decisions and then go. If I spend too long on one thing, then it takes forever, and finishing the track takes forever. All right, so moving right along, I have the kick. I had an 808 bass. But it didn't have enough oomph to it, so I added a kick to it. So it gave me a little bit more support. And so here I have the beats in the chorus with the 808 bass drum. So I have the kick and the bass, 808 bass, matching each other. Sound effects, crackling. Yeah, it's very low in the mix. I like doing that. That's this. Just a shell necklace. And so what I did was record that, and then I made a rhythm out of it. I went into Quick Sampler, imported, and sliced it. And this is what it sounds like. This beat creation is incredible. I gotta say, you can come up with a beat so quickly by just doing a lot of randomization. And that's what I did with this. And you can randomize the velocity, the chance of it actually happening, the repeat, so on and so forth. Man, it is so great. And in like 10 seconds, I have something pretty cool. All right, moving right along. I use this in the beginning. Crackling. So this was just halftime, starting in the beginning. Shakers. It's basically these shakers that I made. Anything can become a shaker. Don't buy shakers. Because if you buy shakers, everyone kind of has that sort of sound shaker, but nobody has this shaker. I put rice. No, is it rice in here? I forget what's in here, but you put beads, whatever. These are just long beads. I don't know if you see that. Oh yeah, this is my rubber bridge guitar through some effects in my guitar pedal. Pretty cool. I won't get it down right now, but yeah, it's my rubber bridge guitar plugged in through my pedal board, and yeah, got some really cool effects with that. I originally was going to do acoustic drums. That's what I had in the live loop. I'll show you what I had. I'm not much of a drummer. If you want to record yourself playing drums, you got to have a really solid tempo. I have my synthesizer. This was the actual live loop synth, or was this a live loop? No, I think this was a live loop. No, that wasn't. This was a live loop right here. So it's not perfect. I try to keep something from the original live loop in the actual track because I like the live element. Kind of like the very sparse synth for the verse too. And that was with my OB6 synthesizer bass. Pretty basic rhythm. Well, a couple more things. I have, oh yeah, so the bass for the Steinways here. That's piano. Electric guitar. Add some energy. And then later on in the second chorus, the last half, I added my matriarch synthesizer. That was cool to add that little high rundown. And then I have this arcade beat. I think it's too much with the other beats. You know, this, and this. You know, the more I try to use loops, recorded loops, I find them difficult to work with on a real production track that you want to sound like a commercial song. It's funny, like you listen to a loop and it's like, oh, that would be really cool, but then there's some element in the loop that you want to get rid of. You could do stem separation, but I think it's just easier to make your own loops, make your own beats. You know, find a snare, make your own snare. Again, with, you know, that could be a cool snare. Could crack. Yeah, so many things you can do with sampling. This quick sampler in Logic is amazing. The last guitar and ukulele. I did a separate performance because I wanted the ending to not sound the same as the beginning, kind of separate. And then here are my vocals at the very end. I drown them out with reverb. I like that. It's kind of cool. I like that. And yeah, I put some crackling in the end. It's really, really low. My final master chain, I've got a gain, so I can control gain staging. And then I have this EQ. I didn't really end up using either of these. I have a Fairchild 670 compressor. This is cool. It is kind of noisy, FYI. So if you're like, oh, that's an interesting compressor, it is cool. It adds some flavor. But sometimes I use a different compressor because it's a little noisy. Just FYI. This ATR I put on pretty much everything. It sounds great, especially when you saturate it a little bit. So when I'm playing, right? Oh, that's way too loud. Yeah, so Final Master, it gets in the red, but it's a nice mellow saturation. It's really great. And then I have Fab Filter, the multi-band compressor. This thing sounds really, really great. I know Logic has one. It doesn't really sound all that great. Logic also has a limiter. It sounds like crap and is almost useless. The Fab Filter limiter, this plugin is what got me to be able to master tracks myself. This is the plugin. I'm telling you. You get this plugin and it does all the work for you, pretty much. Multi-brand compressor, just these two alone, you can master your own stuff. The AI mastering plugins, they're terrible. Master your own stuff. Don't use the AI stuff. They're really bad. Again, like, yeah, so Logic has a mastering thing. I used it a few times. I'm like, what is this garbage? Anyways, this video is getting way too long. I'm sorry. I hope it was helpful for you. I hope you learned maybe a couple things. I always learn stuff from other people, watching other people write and produce. And yeah, next week, I'm going to do another live loop. And I hope you have a great week. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below in the comment section. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.